Have you ever wondered why people like me go back to Middle-earth again and again and again? Maybe you have asked that question yourself or even posed it to a close friend. This book, from the host of the Prancing Pony Podcast, answers this question perfectly. Just like I have fallen in love with Tolkien's world, so have Alan and Shawn. But before we go to review this book, tell me in the comments, what made you fall in love with Middle-earth? As someone has said, let's start at the beginning because it is a very good place to start. So has this book because it starts with the life of J.R.R. Tolkien himself, talking about his early life, his birth, the death of his parents, and even how he met Edith. His fascination with languages, and even how he started to write The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. But it goes much further than this because it covers each different book written down by J.R.R. Tolkien or even his son, Christopher. It talks about the different explanations on how you need to read some books. Like, it is very different to read The Lord of the Rings or even The Hobbit then you need to read the Silmarillion or even Unfinished Tales. It also covered these books and papers that are written about Tolkien's life, like we have Tolkien and the Great War written by John Garth, or even about his works, like Pity, Power and Tolkien's Ring is a book from Thomas Hillman that talks about the Lord of the Rings. It also goes to other works that Tolkien has written, like Mr. Bliss, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, even works created after his life like the Letters of Father Christmas. But it doesn't stop with books. In the second part they are going to cover adaptations, and they're going to go from the BBC radio adaptation all the way until Peter Jackson's version of The Hobbit. It gives great new insight on how they have created those movies, even their opinions about each adaptation. It also has changed my view on adaptation. For example, we have The Rings of Power, which personally, if you have seen my reviews about The Rings of Power, you know I didn't enjoy them at all. But I do like it when someone is watching The Rings of Power, they enjoyed it, and they start reading The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. It brought them into Middle-earth, just like Lord of the Rings from Peter Jackson brought me into Tolkien's world. And the great thing about these adaptations is that it doesn't matter how many adaptations there are. There can be 100 movies created about the Lord of the Rings. We still have Tolkien's books. We still have the Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, the Hobbit. They are still there. The greatest thing that any adaptation can do is bring someone into Tolkien's world, make them read the books. It really changed my mind, and it really made a aha moment. But it doesn't stop here. It even talks about how to be a Tolkien fan. It talks about collecting books, which is a great way to be a Tolkien fan, or even to write papers about Tolkien's work. It talks even about the creation of its own languages, like Tolkien did with Sindarin or Quenya or even Khuzdur. Even covers moods or podcasts like the Prancing Pony Podcast, and even YouTube channels, maybe something like my channel. Well, it isn't there in the book, maybe in the second version. Who knows? Maybe if you guys help me, subscribe to the channel, I can come into this book. This book is simply the Prancing Pony Podcast on paper. It is a lightly to read book, easy to digest, and it's really fun with a lot of puns, and they digress a lot. There are some Monty Python references in here, which are quite funny. Shortly, this book is for every Tolkien fan. If you are new to the fandom, if you have just seen The Lord of the Rings and are deciding on should I read the books or not, or even an expert fan or a long-term fan like me, it is a book that can still give you some great value and some new insights, just like they do on the Prancing Pony Podcast. So go to your local bookshop or even Amazon or wherever. Buy this book because it is a must-read for every Tolkien fan. And if you are still wondering if The Lord of the Rings is still worth reading after all those years since it has been first published, then I will explain to you why it is still worth it in the next 4 minutes in this video. So I'll see you there. Bye bye.